Hello, friends. You guys, I am so unbelievably excited. Welcome to the first official episode of the Say Gay podcast. My name is Toby Couple, if you guys have no idea who I am, and I'm going to be your host of this podcast. You guys, I'm so unbelievably excited. This is the first official episode of the podcast. And I kind of just wanted to give you guys like a little welcome and kind of tell you guys what the podcast is going to be all about and whatnot. So that's kind of what we're going to do in this first episode. So get ready, you guys, follow along this journey. I'm going to be I'm just so excited about this podcast. Like, you guys have no idea how long I've been wanting to do this. So I kind of wanted to give you guys an intro of like, what is this podcast really even going to be about? Because it's called the Say Gay podcast. Obviously, you guys can understand that it's going to be a kind of gay community podcast. I wanted to kind of give kind of like a I don't even know what to call it, like a journal almost of like the gay community and like how you guys can navigate through that and whatnot, because I feel like in the gay community there is a lot of stuff that is like maybe unsaid or a lot of people don't know. Like when I first came out, I am now 24 years old. I came out when I was, I think, 17. There is so many things that I didn't know or I still don't know, and there was so many things I had to learn along the way of the journey of coming out. And even the like actually coming out, like that part is so scary. So there's going to be a lot of like coming out stories within this podcast. I'm going to be bringing in a lot of different guests in the podcast to kind of share their journey. I'll be sharing my own journey, not in this first episode, just because I wanted to give you guys a little welcome, and then I'll give you guys my coming out experience and whatnot. So like I said, I came out when I was 17, so kind of young, like pretty young for the community. And like there's so much in the community, you guys, like that is just unsaid, untold, and a lot of things that might make it easier to navigate through with something like this. So I'm very, very excited. I have so many topics to talk about, you guys. Like the whole journey of like kind of getting here, like why I wanted to start the podcast. I have actually wanted to do a podcast for so long now. Like I have been wanting to do one like for years, and I just didn't really know what direction I wanted to take it in. I thought, there's so many different ideas that I could have done. Like there's lots of like perhaps business ideas, because I was working with a business for a while, and so I thought maybe doing a business podcast, but then I was like, it's not that fun. And then I kind of landed on the idea of like coming to like a gay podcast and having more fun with it, and just kind of helping other people in the gay community. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this podcast, is just have a lot of fun with it and do like like gay things and like talking about the community and whatnot, and having guests on to share their experience, because I think there's, like I've said, there's so many untold things in the story. And even me, like there's still a lot of things that I don't know. Like I grew up in a very small town in Wisconsin where being gay wasn't exactly like normal or, accepted in a way. So I recently, I recently moved down to Austin, Texas this past year in 2022, and I have learned more things living down here about the gay community than I have in my entire life. And so there's a lot of things that I perhaps might not even know still, and that's why I want to bring in a lot of different guests, because they can talk about a lot of things that maybe I don't know, perhaps about the community or anything really. It's not, this whole podcast isn't going to be just about the gay community. It's going to be about gay experiences and like the LGBTQ plus community and everything like that. There's going to be lots of different, because there's so many different dynamics in the community itself. It's not just gay men and gay women and lesbians, and like there's so much more. There's transgender, there is drag queens, like there is so much that I plan on doing with this podcast. And like I said, I'm so unbelievably excited to do all of this. And that's really why I wanted to start it, was to be able to help people, perhaps people later on in life that are still coming out and, they're afraid to be accepted by their family, or perhaps younger people that don't know what to do or how to navigate the community, or perhaps people who've been in the community for a long time and they still have no idea what they're doing, because I felt like that for a very, very long time, because you learn so much on the journey of coming out and being in the community, in the LGBTQ plus community. Like there's so much that you learn, and you never stop learning about it and certain things. And there's a lot of toxicity in the community too, and I think that is something that we can talk about as well. Like there's still so much hate in the LGBTQ community, because people are still going to hate on us. There's still going to be those people who are saying that it's wrong or that marriage should be illegal and all that stuff. So the whole title of this podcast is kind of like a jab at the whole, don't say gay ban in Florida. I really wanted to kind of say gay, you guys. It's okay to say gay, like all of it. So I'm just so unbelievably excited. There's going to be so much stuff going on with this podcast. And, like I said, I have wanted to start this podcast for so long. And, I was sitting at the end of 2022, like the last few months there, and I was like, kind of trying to figure out like what the hell do I want to do with my life. And so I was like, I have been wanting to do a podcast. Like I love social media more than anything. Like I've always loved working on social media. I love posting on social media. And so this podcast was kind of a way for me to get more active into social media and, be active in the community and whatnot. And so that's kind of why I landed on the podcast idea. Was at the end of the year, I was like, I want to do something crazy next year with my life. Like I actually want to start, setting up my future and setting myself up for success. And, this podcast just kind of came naturally to me. And I was thinking about like, what do I want to talk about and all this stuff. And so I have a whole note section of like every single thing that I want to talk about. So I have like endless ideas, and I am just so excited. Like I keep saying that I'm so excited, you guys, but it's honestly because I'm so freaking excited about this podcast, and I'm just so happy to be doing it and just getting started with it. So I want to talk about the upload schedule, you guys, of like, how the uploading is going to be working. I'm going to be uploading every single Wednesday, you guys, and you can find the podcast. If you are a visual person and you want to watch on YouTube, you guys can see me, you can hear me talk and everything, and you guys can kind of see the whole decor I have here. I have an office in my house that I live in right now, and so I kind of set up the office. If you guys are listening I'm also going to be posting it on Spotify. So that one will be obviously a voice podcast. So if you want to see the decor, go to YouTube so you guys can at least see it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I have posted, the decor and everything there. But I have an office set up and everything. And so I decided to do this little, I have a pride flag right behind me. It actually says everyone is welcome here, which you can't even see because I'm blocking it. But this is the setup I have for right now. And I'm probably going to redo it a little bit later on, just because the setup that I have right now isn't exactly too guest friendly as of right now. So I probably will change the setup a little bit later. But for right now, this is what's going to work. And I have, like I said, I have my little pride flag here. If you guys, this is actually my first pride flag I've ever bought. And I've been out in the community since I was like 17. My mom owned a pride flag before I did. And my mom's not even gay, you guys. My mom is like the biggest ally in the entire world. Like I love her to death. And so eventually I definitely want to have her on the podcast, but this is my first pride flag, you guys. I'm a horrible gay person. Like I've never owned a pride flag before. But this is the first one I got, and I love that it said everyone is welcome here, because that is kind of embodying what I want this podcast to be about, is just welcoming everybody. Like no matter, what background you're coming from and whatnot, if you don't feel like you're accepted in your group of friends or perhaps your family or whatnot, and you're in the community, like this podcast is definitely gonna make you feel more welcome, because we're all friends, you guys. Like I'm gonna love all of you followers and whatnot. So definitely go check out this podcast you can see it on YouTube or on Spotify. It's called The Say Gay Podcast. That's pretty much going to be all the socials, you guys. Instagram, TikTok. I have a Facebook page for it as well. You can find the podcast pretty much on any of those platforms you guys want to follow along. I have a link tree in my Instagram bio if you guys ever want to go check that out. It's going to have a link to every single social media that you guys can find and whatnot. So other than that, you guys, I kind of just wanted to say thank you guys so much. This is going to be definitely a shorter episode, just because I wanted to give like a little bit of a welcome, obviously. And then next week we're going to kind of get into, more of the nitty gritty and whatnot. And I'm going to be uploading at least 2 episodes on the first day. So this welcome podcast will be the first episode, and then I'll upload another one with it as well. So the first episode is going to drop January 4th, which is a Wednesday, and I'm going to be dropping episodes every single Wednesday for this entire year, you guys. But like I said, go follow along on YouTube or Spotify if you want to listen to full episodes. On TikTok, I plan on just posting like snippets of everything, and on Instagram, that's where you guys can definitely like reach out to me if you guys have any questions. Don't feel afraid to like message me or anything, you guys. I am absolutely an open book, and I definitely want to just make this fun and whatnot. And if you guys go to my Instagram, or if you find the link tree to the podcast, there's actually a section in there that you guys can ask questions. And so I thought it would be kind of fun for me to answer a question from a follower every single day, or every single podcast, I should say. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, definitely go drop them in the link tree. I have a section in there just ask me questions. If you can't figure that out, just, send me a message on Instagram. You can send me, I don't know if you can send messages on TikTok. I love TikTok, you guys, but I am not a TikTok guru. I do love it though. So definitely ask me some questions, you guys, and I will answer at least one question every single podcast, and that will kind of welcome you guys. I'll shout out your handles and whatnot if you guys message me on Instagram, or if you email me the question box in the link tree. Leave your Instagram in there, and I will shout out your Instagram, and I will shout out your name or whatever you guys want. Unless you want it to be anonymous, completely understand that. Just let me know in those messages, but I will give you a shout out and I will answer your questions. But you guys, I think that's kind of it for this first episode. I am so excited. I literally just keep saying that over and over, you guys. I've been so excited for this, and like just telling all my friends and family about it. I think a lot of people are excited for it, and there's nothing I love more than talking, you guys. Like, I am obsessed. When I go to work every day, you guys, I'm a bartender, and when I go to work, I stay talking to every single person. Like, I love talking so much. But yeah, you guys, go follow the Say Gay podcast on all social medias, and if you guys want to follow me personally, my pretty much everything on my socials is actually just callme.tobes. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. My Facebook's is Toby Cuffle. Probably don't add me on Facebook because if I don't know who you are, I'm probably not going to accept it. But if you guys go follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I will definitely give you guys a follow back and we can interact with each other. So go follow the Say Gay podcast. Find it on YouTube, you guys. Find it on Spotify, wherever you guys listen to your podcast. And you guys will find it there. I will say the only platform that I don't plan on uploading this to is Apple Podcast, just because Apple has a lot of criteria for posting their podcasts, and it actually costs money to post a podcast on there, and it's not exactly cheap, you guys. But I did just want to let you guys know it's probably not going to be on Apple Podcast right away, just because I haven't fully figured out how Apple works. So I just decided to go with Spotify and YouTube for now. Maybe eventually down the road we'll get to Apple Podcasts, but we'll figure that out later on. But you guys go to Spotify, go to YouTube, follow along, find me on Instagram, TikTok at the Say Gay Podcast, and I can't wait to show you guys the next episode.